do it. Yeah, so I was saying, it's like we're probably going to be going live at this very moment. And welcome back to Waking the People with your host, Sir Chad Everett Brochures. And I am accompanied by my co-host, the man that Prince would sing about, Joshua, your patriot, my Kraken, McClendon. All right, we don't have a whole lot to go over, but we do have a lot to go over. And it's an interesting opportunity this evening or on this particular episode. So that Joshua's going to get into some of his wonderful crypto fiasco. And then we're going to talk about some other some other things that are going on right now in this week, in the news this week. So also what we're going to be getting into is we're not necessarily going to be going into all of the mainstreams nonsense that most of you have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen to, read, whatever it is, in order to consume it. We're actually going to talk about things that actually are impacting the majority of Americans, not just this nonsense bullshit that we seem to be getting force-fed once you suckle at the teat of the television. So, Joshua, how do you want to bring this one up today? You want to go right into the crypto fun?
Yeah, we can do that. Happy Wednesday, everyone. We made it to hump day. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Waking the People. If you have not done yet, please subscribe. We're hovering still where we're at when we hit our goal for April for 60 subscribers. We're still at 62. So please take the time, hit that button, support the channel, pound that bill, hit a like, comment about something, comment about anything you heard, and you'll really help us out. But yeah, it was a morning today, Chad. So we talked about yesterday, actually last episode, when you'll see it. We talked about yesterday about crypto is kind of going down a little bit, and it was only down, let's say 3 to 5%. I don't really remember the exact number. Today we woke up, Chad, and I don't know if you checked, but it was down. Almost every single one was down 20+%. I mean, like almost going back to where if you bought within the last, let's say 6 months or so, or at least 3 months, 3 to 6 months, you might be back to where you bought in at in some of your positions. And
yeah,
that's not
No, but it's also, so I heard another term today, and I think it's a pretty neat term. So Joshua's been teaching me like paper hands, right? Like the people that are just trying to, sell whenever it's low sell when it's high, buy when it's low, and they're trying to play the market. Well, I heard another term, and they refer to it as lettuce hands.
Yeah, that's the new way to say it now.
Is whenever like you do buy, and then once it starts falling out, you're afraid to hold on to it, and then you just like get rid of it. And sometimes there's a thing that they call, and correct me if I'm wrong with any of this, Joshua, it's called a pump and dump. And I'm not talking about tender. Okay. What I mean is the pump and dump is whenever they pump up a stock and then they get people to buy in and they keep buying in because there's the idea that they're going to be able to make a lot of money off of it because others have done something similar. And you get to where it gets high enough, and then these individuals sell their own and the stock looks like it's plummeting. So people are selling out quickly to try to get out from underneath it so that hopefully they'll be able to, at least if nothing else, pull out everything they've invested. If not, then lose it, And so let's say that somebody puts in $1,000 for stock and they end up getting that lettuce hand situation where they see the stock falling and they pull out at $700. They lost 300, but at least they saved 700 instead of going back to zero is the idea that typically goes into it. So they call that lettuce hands. I'm afraid we need to get rid of it. And so again, this is a new world to me. So it's like me learning, it's not Spanish. No, it is like learning, it's not quite a foreign language. It's like learning a new system of function. So with that, lettuce hands, paper hands, and then there's diamond hands.
Yeah, that's what everyone strives to be.
Yeah,
we all want to be diamond hands, Chad. I love the lettuce hands analogy. It's so true. I saw today, it was a meme, not really a meme. I guess you could still consider it a meme. And it said that the volatility on crypto shows you the difference between the tourist and the believers. And I was like, I liked that. Because it's true. I mean, this stuff is so new, and it's really only, I mean, I had a customer at my job today who I've had very little interaction with mention crypto to me. Like, I don't know if it's the law of attraction or we've just finally gotten to the point where Doge kind of let the mainstream media into the crypto world, and now this new ecosystem is starting to build up, and it's crazy. And there's so many nuances to crypto that I am still learning. There's so much more. And for all the the listeners, maybe y'all think I'm like this expert. I've read a few books. I'm learning just like y'all. Like, I really am. I might be know a little bit more. I try to put myself in that world often so I can understand it, but I'm still figuring a lot of stuff out. So here's what happened this morning, Chad. Here's my fiasco. So I had some assets. I had some Ethereum in one wallet that I really wanted to move to a different one because I just wanted to consolidate everything. With everything moving around, like I'm trying to do the math. So I had to get it all in one. All right. I was like, okay. So I go in there, I do all the stuff you have to do. It's all processed. You got to copy this link and put it into your thing. It's you have to, and if Chad, if you're wrong, if you put the wrong code in and it goes to a different wallet, you ain't getting it back. It's gone. Okay. So keep that in mind. I double checked it, triple checked it, that it was the right wallet that I was supposed to send my Ethereum to. I sent it. I got my verification email, good to go. It says, okay, it's going to take 10 minutes. An hour goes by, Chad. There's no Ethereum in there. So I'm starting to panic a little bit. Okay. So I go back, I double check, I see if I put everything in there, and then I go back to my Coinbase, still not there, Chad. Nothing, not even a verification email. So Coinbase and Binance crashed today. And I sent my stuff right in the middle of that crash. It took 3.5 hours, Chad, before my transaction was even made, which shows you how cool crypto is, that it'll just keep bouncing around until it gets the right address. So that 3.5 hours, Chad. So that's how I kicked my day off, was, oh God, I just lost everything that I've built for the last X odd months, and I have no idea where it is. It's just not, it's in the ether. No pun intended. It's just in the ether. And
that's not exactly a kind of moment that a lot of us want to go through. Just imagine that, like, you've put yourself in a situation where you're like, you know what? I've got, $500,000 or $1 million worth of this, and you do a transaction right in the middle of that. I'd imagine you're going to sit with quite a bit of panic, because, some of that stuff, man, it just, if you can't track it down, you ain't getting it. It doesn't have the same kind of like setup like the American currency or just any country's currency at the moment. But it's still young, it's still growing. And now I do know that China, or at least I read this earlier today, China is actually they're outlawing, or they're banning, not outlawing, they're banning cryptocurrency in China. So yeah, as far as I can tell, it's all cryptocurrency. So with that, if you do have crypto and you notice that it has taken a bit of a dive or a straight up nosedive, it very well can be because they are not allowed to actually have it there anymore, according to the source that I was reading out of this morning, which is a very reputable source. So it's an interesting thing to think that an entire country like China would actually ban it. Then again, China, in my opinion, loves control, and they're doing everything they can to have control. So with that being said, that's probably a pretty good reason why we would see such a significant fluctuation in the market. Elon, to me, is kind of playing games. So who the hell knows what he's doing at the moment? I don't follow him like a sycophant. I'm not 100% fanboy of his, where if he says he's going to do something, then I just give in and do whatever the hell he's doing. I'm not doing that. I won't do that. I don't do that with anybody. And I do suggest other people also, learn what you see, what you can, get as much information as you can, and then make your own decisions. But I'd caution anybody against following somebody blindly. So with that, I think Elon is playing some games. China, doing what they did, all of that kind of had an effect. So if Bitcoin gets hit pretty good, it can also have a faith value loss in any of the other cryptocurrencies, since um, um, Bitcoin is the leader of the industry. Uh, so with that, yeah, it's some interesting stuff. I'm by no means an expert. I am interested though, and that's why I'm learning along the way. So Joshua is definitely more advanced than I am, and we're both just bumbling through this thing, learning everything that we can. So at least if anything, we can just give you some insight. When I can tell you anywhere to put your money, that's all on you. Don't take my advice. Don't buy what I tell you to, because I'm not going to tell you to buy anything. Just get what you feel comfortable getting if you can, if you want, and do know that it can be a risk, and be responsible about it. Don't put it on anybody else. It's not the American way.
True. And a little bit of history here. So China's done this before. I don't remember exactly the year. We can look it up. I think it was 2017, 2018. And the majority of Bitcoin was held in China. That's where the most Bitcoin in transaction, or in the overall supply of Bitcoin, was held in China. And China made it illegal. And Bitcoin tanked, just like it is right now. And I want to say it recovered and hit all-time highs within 30 days or so. So now, like it's been through stuff like this before. I wish I would have saw that piece of news. Chad and I have been running around like madmen all day today, so I didn't get to see anything about China making it illegal. But it has happened before, and Bitcoin still recovered. So if you are involved, if you've done your due diligence, again, Chad and I are not financial advisors. This is all for entertainment. But just hang on, just hang on. If you got in there thinking it's a get rich crip scheme, it's not. It's an investment. Buy and hold. Today I had a friend tell me, when in doubt, zoom out, and he just meant zoom out at the big scale of the chart. And Bitcoin has just done this. All of them else have just done that. So this could be a very, very, very little bleep on the screen in the long term.
Yeah, and the way I look at it too, if it is a pump and dump, they're wanting people to sell, to drop the value so they can buy back in, and then recycle the faith model again, where people see, hey, it is going up again because the people that have all this money put money back into it, and then you see the stock starting to climb again. So people that it's a way of exchanging money, hands with the money. So I just, if I were involved, I would be holding on myself. So, but again, entertainment purposes only. But yeah, they all Crypto-Fiasco. I'm sure that there's a lot more coming, and I imagine that everybody's going to, you're going to see a lot more different opportunities. I mean, hell, Amazon's supposed to be coming up with their own crypto, so Jeff Bezos is making his, so you never know. Like with Amazon, they can immediately walk into the marketplace with an entire blockchain system underneath it. They could walk in, because Amazon is an extremely powerful company. It has a lot of resources, and it is international. He could walk right in and just be like, boom, immediately have a value system attached to it, set up like Ethereum, where they've actually got apps and systems that work off of their blockchain, things like that. It's possible. Is he going to do it? Who knows? He has the resources to, and as much as I dislike the guy, I also do admire him for some of his business brilliance. I don't like him on his political side, but as far as his business sense, he's a very business savvy individual, and he looks at models of businesses, and that's, I mean, a lot of the stuff that he has right now, if it was cheaper to build it himself instead of buying it, he did it. So remember, Amazon started off as an online book resource. You buy books from it online. And now look at where it is. It's one of the largest companies in the world. So, the guy's not exactly an idiot. So he very well could come to market with a very strong cryptocurrency. Don't know yet though. So we'll see. Do you imagine that thing actually launching and he's already got it up like $1,000 a share or something stupid? So I just never know who's going to get a piece of it. Yeah.
They could do it. He could do it. Just link everything. Just pay with Bitcoin. They could so do it. And yeah.
Oh, easily.
Yeah, it actually would make sense.
Well,
Cardano, the Ethiopian government has already decided to run their education system on it, the possibility of decentralized elections, all kinds of cool stuff that you can do that I think some companies, even some countries are starting to understand the real value behind it.
I guarantee I have a prediction. Not psychic. I'm deducing this. Nope, it's coming to me from another source. No, I'm kidding. So here's here's what I think he actually might end up doing. If he wants to get people on his crypto, all he has to do is incentivize people to put their money into it. He may give, like, all right, well, you get next day shipping for free. If you're not a Prime member, if you are a Prime member, then you'll get these other benefits simply because you have a base level account of crypto, of his crypto. There's a lot of things that he could do to actually get people to switch over. And before you know it, people are creatures of habit. They get enough benefits. They see it like a no-brainer. He has the room to be able to absorb some loss if it gives him long-term gain. He's got a lot of options there. So, and we're creatures of habit. He gets people to switch over. There's a pretty damn good chance he'll just keep it that way, or he'll just turn it into, all right, well, if you're going to buy in cash, it's going to be this much more. Kind of like when you pass the gas station and you see like the price of gas there is like 6 cents cheaper than the one you passed before that. You pull in, you're like, hell yeah. You go put your card in, and then you start pumping gas and you realize it's the same price or higher than the one you passed because you didn't see the fine print where it said cash only or cash price. Now, he could do things like that too, where it's like, yeah, here's this product. You go over there, you get invested in it, you look at it, you get all the description values, all the rest of the stuff. You're like, this is actually a great looking product. This is awesome. And look, it's so damn cheap. And you're like, all right, and I'm going to go to check out. And then it goes, okay, now you have your option. You have your crypto payment or you have your cash payment. And the crypto payment would be lower. Now, no problem. Transfer money into crypto and then purchase it and you save money. So that kind of behavior is something that I could see his company doing, and having it be the favor, like Amazon only accepts crypto of their own ilk, of their own creation. That may very well end up being how he does it. But I could see that. Again, that's not a guarantee. I haven't read this anywhere. I'm deducing this based off of business analysis and looking at his own patterns. So, yeah. What do you think about that, big guy?
It's crazy, man. Doesn't it blow your mind, Chad? Like when you're like, actually you talk about putting stuff on Ethereum and this and that, Chad, I got happy inside. I can tell that you've been studying. I can tell that you've been looking into this. It's insane, isn't it? It's crazy. It's crazy.
It really is. It's crazy too, because it's like blockchain was explained to me back in like 2012, 2013, and I had no freaking clue what the hell he was talking about. I didn't even know what the hell it was, or had an idea about it, to let you guys know how ignorant I am to the subject. I didn't even know what it was until 2 months ago, a month ago. No, I think I even asked you within the last couple of weeks to explain blockchain to me, because it doesn't make sense. No, I asked you to explain why Elon said what he said about the energy consumption of mining Bitcoin. And I was like, how the hell is that? And I get it now, because my hypothesis was that it was just taking up servers and taking up manpower. But the reality is he's also talking about the actual system consumption of energy in order to produce to make the systems run. And that was what he was saying, as far as it consumes too much energy, which I call bullshit on that. I would say if he was going to go with resource squandering, then you could probably present an argument there, because we right now do have a bit of a bit short. We have software, or not software. We have hardware shortages. So we have chips shortages and things like that because of COVID's effect on the planet. Thank you, China. So they've bottlenecked like manufacturing down, so that some of the newer cars you can't even get. Like right now, if you go up to the car lots, you're not getting the deal you got last year. You're not getting the deal you got 2 years ago. You're not getting any of those right now on brand new vehicles, because they're on back order for some of them. They can't manufacture them because the chips aren't available to get the vehicle produced. And bear in mind, when this type of thing happens, if they don't have a quality guarantee on their product at the chip level, there's a good chance they're just going to take anything they can get that's suitable, shove it into the car, get it out into the parking lot and or out of the car lot, or to get it into your driveway. You may very well end up purchasing a vehicle that is going to have a history of issues because it has substandard product or parts in it. So, but anyway, that could be a shortage, and that could be a resource squandering. And I could get behind that argument a little bit more than just the power consumption of these servers running. I'm sure that the servers are running a pretty decent amount of power, but overall, in a world energy consumption value, I imagine that it's so minuscule and fractional of a single or of a percent. So I don't know the exact number though. And if somebody does, by all means, throw it out there, but also bring the source because I want to look into it. So anyway,
it's less than what the New York Stock Exchange takes. Bitcoin consumes less energy than that does. And when you really look, you're right. I thought it was such a cop out. Lithium batteries aren't that great for the environment. Electric cars, there can be an argument made that the production and manufacturing of electric cars is way more detrimental to the environment than Bitcoin mining is. So it just didn't. I agree. I feel like it was an easy way out. And if you're in the mind space that this stuff is, Ponzi schemes, it's not real, I think you're kind of in the past. And if we talk about Elon, we talk about all these companies that have some kind of involvement with it, and what they say can affect a lot in the marketplace. I had someone tell me today, I can't tell you who he is, but he works for a big bank. He wouldn't even tell me the name of the bank. He's a big bank. He's like, about him. He said that they have meetings 2 meetings a week where they talk about cryptocurrencies.
Wells Fargo.
They wouldn't tell me. I don't know. I don't even know who it is.
I read an article today that Wells Fargo is in discussions, or they talk about crypto.
He said they're not going anywhere. That's all he said.
Crypto's not going anywhere.
He's like, you can rest assured of that.
I'm 95% sure it's Wells Fargo.
Yeah,
not this guy, not the situation that Josh was referring to, but I did read about that there are major banks that are really looking at it, and it adds more credibility to the currency. So although the show is not exactly completely dedicated to crypto, but if nothing else, it is one of the hot topics right now that people are enjoying. And it's important enough for people that we do interact with. I have not been approached by anybody to ask me about my crypto or what my take is on crypto right now. But I'm also, again, I'm here learning and listening like most of you. Joshua is definitely a bit ahead of me. So, it is interesting to listen to all of this and kind of like figure out where everything is. So instead of just going, oh, okay, well, there's just a different currency. It's a little bit more than that. I can make an instantaneous transaction right now on the exact opposite side of the planet, instantaneously. I can have my goods paid for, whatever it might be, like that, like immediate, versus having to send money over, wait for the credit card transaction systems to take place, and or the vetting systems to ensure the money is available. Not with this. It's instant. So it's pretty interesting overall as it continues to evolve into its own thing. So we'll keep you guys posted on more of the insights and more of what we learn in the process. And if there are some stocks that we're keeping an eye on, the specific cryptos that we are keeping an eye on, we'll share it with you. It's by no means are we telling you to buy it, but if you want to keep an eye on it, make your own healthy decision, by all means do. I personally do like Doge, even though it is a meme currency, but we do see there are people getting very serious behind it to build out an infrastructure so they actually have its own blockchain. Ethereum actually is, I believe the last I read about Ethereum is they're actually a bit more advanced in their blockchain system than Bitcoin is. But Bitcoin has a very strong blockchain as well. But Ethereum has more of a versatility to it, from what I've read. But then again, I'm not an expert. I'm learning. So yeah.
Next year, Ethereum 2.0 comes out. That's going to be better. Mhm.
I have no idea, but I would assume it's going to be better.
Better, yes, much better.
So it's going to be like Ethereum Cash or what is that? Ethereum, um, what is that? Ethereum Original or Classic? Ethereum Classic?
Yeah,
Is it
well,
going to?
Ethereum Classic came out first, and they had a bunch of bugs. They got hacked a lot. They also came out with another currency called DAO when they first came out, and it actually almost killed Ethereum. But then they made a more efficient version. Again, this is a blue collar take on the ASIC. I can't dive into the exact technical reasons why, but then they moved on to Ethereum. And I guess now they're creating Ethereum 2.0, which is going to be a better version of Ethereum and its blockchain abilities and all the, multiple different currencies running on top of it. But, it's also, Chad, I tell you about Cardano all the time. Cardano
Yeah.
and Ethereum are my favorite. They're pretty much the only ones I look at. Cardano is actually faster than Ethereum is, much faster. And
It's
it's the
interesting.
same thing as Cardano does, or excuse me, the same thing that Ethereum does, Cardano does.
I've found out today also, again, I'm learning and researching in a lot of directions right now. But I found out also today that the co-founder of Ethereum started Cardano,
Mhm.
which Cardano right now is fractional. No, it's not. It's at what, $1
I've been
something?
watching it go the wrong direction for a while.
Okay,
The
but
best day. I think it's
but the
like
point,
160-ish, 150-ish right now.
yeah, with that, it's at like $1 something. Where Ethereum was up last week, it was at the beginning of last week, it was around $4,000 a share. It's now down to like 2,300 or something like that. The last I looked, it was high 23. So, but with that, Ethereum is becoming like the darling of the crypto world. It's a lot of people are putting some focus on that. So Doge, because it was a lower end, or at least much easier to get into it, get quite a few stocks at a low end with a lot more, value to it. Cardano, on the other hand, really hasn't been much. It hasn't been mentioned by a lot of people, but it was mentioned by Barstool Sports. He likes Cardano.
He did it. He said that one.
Well, yeah, I believe it's either Cardona or because he's going, he and Elon are going at it with their favorites.
He
Right?
told
Is
him
it
for now.
Cardona?
Yeah,
Barstool
I think it was
Sports?
Cardano. And Cardano is so. If you look at the chart, Cardano is like they're number 5 on the top biggest market caps of cryptos. Like they're still $1 and change. It's so undervalued, and
Yeah.
it could end up being one of the biggest. Again, speculation. Not telling you what to do, but there's a lot of value there still. And you're right. You don't hear anyone really talking about
Yeah. Now that's one of those little sleeper ones. And if it does end up taking off and you got something in it, yeah, there were people that were being suggested to buy Bitcoin when they were $1 a coin. And had they actually taken that advice, they would be, if the amount of money that the person was actually considering putting in at the time when he elected not to, would have made him a billionaire off of his Bitcoin investment. So anyway, again, we're not trying to sell pipe dreams or anything. It's just like strategize, diversify. If you put a couple of bucks in some place, again, it's completely up to you. It's your choice. We're not giving you direction, but if you do and you put it away and it turns into something, you may be very happy that you did. So, but you're your own person. Now, you do you, honey boo, as one of my old roommates used to say.
Just hold on. Just relax.
Ooh. All right. So let's move on. Okay. You got any other subjects you want to touch on today before we move on to the next thing?
I'll do a very quick story. Actually, an altercation I had today on top of the story I told you where X amount of Ethereum was missing. So it was already at a heightened stimulation. I was going down this road. I was working. I was going down this road and there was this, I was going to one of the job sites and I had to park on the street. Now there was a tree company service that was like working right across where I parked from. So the parking was very narrow. It was a big truck, kind of small street. So I do my job. I come back, I get in the car and it's down this kind of side road. And I really can't see what's at the the back of the road. There's a bunch of cars parked in the street. Cars are coming up. It's busy. It's very congested. So I get in the car. I drive up. I nose into the driveway next door to the job site I was at. The lady's outside, Chad, and she starts like waving at me. Don't pull in my driveway. I'm like, excuse me, ma'am. I'm like, can you not see the roads? It's congested. I'm just trying to turn around. She's like, you can go use the roundabout down there. I was like, ma'am, I didn't know there was a roundabout down there. All I see is cars. It's just congested. Like, just she was bitching at me, Chad, for pulling in her driveway. I was like, ma'am, I'm just gonna back up. Like, this is the world we live in. Okay, so how about this, Chad? Do you find it rude when people use your driveway to just back up and go in the other direction?
No, I always do look and go, who the hell's in my driveway?
Of course, of course.
But if they're just using it to turn around, I don't care. Just don't hit my car. Don't damage my property. Be safe. Have a great day. No.
Yeah. Is that just a me thing? I don't care. Yeah. Sometimes people wave to me when I do it.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah. I'm just turning around. I didn't run your grass. I barely get in your driveway. I didn't crack the slab. Like, take a break, lady. Jeez, it's 9:30 and I don't know where this Ethereum is, and I have you bitching at me for using your driveway.
I do that little I do that prairie dog look whenever somebody pops in the driveway and I'm out there doing yard work. I'm like, can I help you? And they're like, I'm just turning around and be like, all right, you guys have a safe day. Be careful. I live on the corner lot, so don't look both ways. Yeah. So it's definitely not just you. It's not just you, I promise. No, but everybody's on such edge, man. Like, everybody's just like so ready to just lash out and kill somebody, not necessarily like literally, but people are so on edge right now. So some of the reasons for us being on edge, like I posted earlier on my Facebook account about a Biden post, or what Biden had to say, which was get the vaccine or pay the price.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, I've got the exact quote, and I did look it up to make sure that it was accurate and that it was legit. And he said to those who are not vaccinated will end up paying the price. Now, you can interpret that any which way you want to. For me, I will interpret that as there's a very strong push to get this thing. I've never in my life had so many people tell me that I needed to get it, and the consequences is if I don't, whenever the consequences should still stay at and solely in the arena of my well-being is my health, not whether or not I'll be restricted from flying anywhere in the world, or if I'm going to be monitored and tracked. I'm going to have to get papers in order to prove that I've actually got this, shot, all this stuff. And then having celebrities come forward with their trust us. We know how to emotionally manipulate you so that you vote for me in the Emmys and I can make more money. Yeah, I don't trust people that are paid to persuade me to believe there's somebody they're not. So that's also one of my gripes that I have with politicians. But yes, so to have President Biden make a statement like that says something significant that we should all be aware of. Now, you can interpret it however you want. I am not interpreting it as his way of saying that if you don't get the vaccination, eventually you'll end up dying from this thing that has far less than a 1% fatality rate on average. So, yeah, no, thank you. And making statements like that, could you imagine if Trump had made a statement like that?
I know.
People would be buying up firearms left and right, sleeping with those things on their chest going, Orange Man's going to come and get me, and I'm going to kill that son of a bitch, right? They'd be all kinds of shit. By the way, again, just acting out this stupid hysteria that people get into, because I actually do appreciate the old orange fella. I voted for him. If you don't like that, I got a really bright untanned spot right back over here, and you can put your lips on it. Oh yeah, you can suckle on. You can leave a hickey on it too. Yeah, just so I can look in and be like, kiss my ass. All right. So yeah,
How many people, Chad? Do you know people? Do you know more people who have been vaccinated or ones that aren't going to get vaccinated?
more that aren't.
Yeah.
By far more than that aren't. So, but then again, I also don't really interact with a bunch of scary ass people. And I don't mean scary like I'm afraid of them. I mean more like chicken littles. So, and I do know there are people that have health concerns legitimately that actually, if they were to come down with the coof, that it could be life threatening to them. And I'm not ridiculing them for making that decision. But as far as people that are like, you're not going to get it. If you get the vaccine, you should be perfectly fine. Don't worry about me, my body, my choice. Yeah. How about that for a commercial? You
I
know,
like how pushed it is.
Hollywood sellout fuckheads sitting there going, we can all come together and we can eradicate all of this, all these issues. And we finally have somebody who's going to give us unity in the office, the Oval Office. And Caitlyn Jenner's running for governor. You guys are fake as shit. All of you. All of them. All of them. And you know what? Matthew McConaughey's starting to wear on me.
Oh,
And not in a good way. Not in a good way. I've liked him his entire career. And he's pissing me off in politics.
Oh gosh.
Because he's fucking phony in it. He's not proven he's not. Because yesterday's episode, or our last episode for those that are going to be watching these, old Mr. McConaughey is standing out in the desert with nobody around him, and he's wearing a fucking mask. So, yeah. No fucking thank you. Don't virtue signal, especially if you're going to run for a Republican position as a governor of Texas, and you're going to talk about limiting people's ability to buy firearms. Plus, you're going to be taking a photo op when you're off in the desert, fucking off, wearing a mask. Get the hell out of here, man. And I mean a cover your mouth because of the coof mask. So, yeah, what the hell? So, yeah, he's starting to wear on me in a negative way. Always like that, man. I have. But I feel like he's fucking pretending. So,
I mean,
yeah.
He's got to play the game. It's politics. We're never going to have the world we want where we get genuine people in there who literally just be themselves, and hopefully the voters vote for them for the right reasons and we get the best people in there. But we live in a world now, it's politics. You gotta strum the right fiddle. You have to be engaged and try to figure out which side of this colossal river of just one ideas and the other ideas, and just try to ride that wave. It's the only way. We're done with the George Washington days with the I don't want to be president. People forget that George Washington did not want to be president. I don't want to be it. And now it's a career. It's a not president, but just politics in general. It's a career. It's your whole. You can just stay in there forever and hang out.
Yeah. Well, I will say that I disagree with the have to play the game thing. I don't think he's playing the game very well. If he was, he would know his base, and his base is not restricting the First or Second Amendment in any way. And it is also not people that are running around afraid and wanting to lock things down, or make sure that people are wearing their masks. That's not the population that he's going to be running on their ticket. Now, if he switches over and runs Democrat, it makes sense. But at this moment, he's running Republican, or he's planning to run Republican. So he's making some moves. His celebrity will get him somewhere, so I'm sure he's going to get on the ticket. But as far as actually winning, I don't know. And at this moment, not a supporter. I'm willing to give him a chance and to allow him to continue to get an opportunity. But then again, it's not my state, so I'm not voting there anyway. But as far as our commentary goes, I know where I'm going to be standing for a bit until he proves me otherwise, or Joshua talks me out of it. But we'll see.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, we're never really going to see a Trump again. Like you have to be a certain kind of person to go from very little zero political experience, having a platform and then turning that into the president of the United States. I don't think that people really got to grasp what that was. Like that Trump becoming president was one of the craziest events in history. It really
Yeah.
was.
He's not a career politician. He didn't
No,
work his way up the
crazy.
ladder that way. So it's a really interesting phenomenon, him coming in the way that he did. But anyway, not to make the episode about Trump, because that's who knows what the hell Facebook and YouTube and but Rumble won't do anything about it. But what YouTube might do if we say the name too many times in a positive way, you just never know what the hell those companies are going to do. By the way, now there is an update to this. All it requires is one strike for YouTube creators, and they can get a ban for a full week with no exceptions. Yeah. Hopefully we do find more platforms that can gain as much notoriety as YouTube has, so we can branch off even further. So keep following us, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Don't forget, take that like button out to a nice seafood dinner, stare it right in the eyes, and let it know how you're going to demolish it by the end of the night. Yeah, that's what you need to do to that like button. Yeah. All right. So I've got one more topic, and then it's pretty much what I've got for the episode today. So anything else on that topic before we switch off, Joshua?
No, that's it. We'll just see what happens. Maybe Matthew can pull it out. Maybe he can't. It'd be interesting to watch him in a debate. I'm sure they'll be televised. So I guess we'll see what happens.
All right. This one's going to be one that actually helps outline more of this unrest that we're going through right now in the country, and actually kind of all over the world. But predominantly we're seeing a bigger rise of this in the country. So with that, this one has to do with an attack on Jewish diners at LA restaurant by pro-Palestinian group. Now, again, for everybody who's watching this video, we don't really have a stance in this necessarily. Like I'm not tribal in any way. Not really, I'm not citing Israel. I'm not citing Palestine or Palestine. I am looking at it from an outside observer's perspective, and I will say that there's a few things that I'm going to mention after I read this article. So it's just more about the logical perspective of it for being somebody who's on the outside. I'm not wearing a jersey for either one of them. I'm wearing the "we need to get along and we need to stop the violence" jersey. I'm not wearing anything else. So, but I will share some of my thoughts. But again, I'm open to more information and insights. So, obviously some of my friends that are on both sides will obviously be bringing more to my awareness. And with that, just understand the show is dedicated to, one, waking people up, and that includes waking ourselves up. We're tired of living in the blue pill matrix. We're red pilled. So in the sense that we're awake. So as far as that goes, this is the article here. So cell phone video of a group of men attacking diners at a restaurant in the Beverly Grove neighborhood in Los Angeles, California on May 18th, 2021. Authorities are investigating a brawl late Tuesday night outside a restaurant in Los Angeles as a possible hate crime. Witnesses told CBSLA that a caravan of vehicles with people waving pro-Palestinian flags approaching the restaurant in the Beverly Grove neighborhood and began throwing glass bottles at diners while yelling anti-Jewish profanity. Cell phone video footage shows a group of men get out of the car and begin to physically attack the diners. One man appearing to pick up a metal pole and holding above his head, shouting anti-Jewish slurs. One diner who is not Jewish told CBSLA that he was pepper sprayed while attempting to defend the group and had to go to the hospital. The attackers took off in what police describe only as possibly a black Jeep. According to CBSLA, Los Angeles police said no one was seriously injured and no immediate arrests were made. Earlier in the week in Los Angeles, an Orthodox Jewish man was allegedly chased by a pro-Palestinian caravan, according to CBSLA, amid rising tensions during the conflict in Gaza. Police are investigating. Early Tuesday, a group of pro-Palestinian demonstrators gathered in West LA outside of the Israeli consulate, organized by the Palestinian Youth Movement, CBSLA reported. The protest was peaceful and LAPD said no arrests were made. The US has encouraged Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin, oh, I'm going to mess that up, Netanyahu. I messed that up and I apologize. And other Israeli leaders to de-escalate fighting in Gaza. The conflict has resulted in at least 213 Palestinian deaths and 12 in Israel. The Associated Press reported demonstrators across the U.S. have been marching in the streets as large pro-Palestinian protests on Saturday and Sunday took place in cities like Sacramento, New York, Dallas, and Washington. Orange County District Attorney's Office announced on May 11th the creation of a hate crimes prosecution unit. The unit will be in charge of prosecuting any crimes fueled by discrimination against a victim's gender, race, religion, national origin, sexual orientation, or disability. An escalation in anti-Semitism incidents has occurred in recent years, as a recent study by the Pew Research Center found that more than half the Jewish people living in the U.S. feel less safe than they did 5 years ago. The study also found that over 6 in 10 U.S. Jews say they think a way can be found for Israel and independent Palestine state to peacefully coexist. All right, that's the end of that article. Now, I have actually seen videos of people chasing somebody who is dressed in the Orthodox Jewish garb. So it's pretty obvious that that individual is practicing Judaism, and seeing him running away from multiple vehicles that all had the Palestinian flag, waving out of the vehicle as they went around the corner, and that's where the gentleman ran past and out of sight. There is definitely a increase in these types of situations. And my thoughts on this are, I do not see, and I have not seen a single report where there is a caravan of Jewish men running around attacking Palestinian people. I have not seen that yet, but if somebody has that and can provide that, by all means, please do get in touch with us on our email at wakingthepeoplepodcast@gmail.com, or you can comment on this video and we'll get back with you as soon as we can. But I will say that from what I can see, and I'm on the fence on all this stuff. I'm just sitting up here going, what the hell is going on? Our country is falling into chaos. I see what's going on right now as the typical politician. They say one thing, they do exactly the opposite. And if people learned how to read politicians, they would say, okay, the person said unity, and immediately you could just say, I'm not going to vote for division. No, they're talking about peace. Well, I don't want to support a politician that wants this to go to war. And you just, like, if you start listening to them for the exact opposite of whatever they're saying, you might actually understand them better when they actually get to a position of power. So my position on it is, I do not see caravans of Jewish men riding around attacking Palestinians. I see it the other way around. And again, I have seen videos of that. The particular article that I just read actually has a video attached to it. So with that, I hope to see that all of this calms down. I will assert that mainstream media is going to blame it on white supremacy, because that's their go-to, and they're part of the problem. Actually, they're a big part of the problem. So with that, again, I'm open to the information that comes in as soon as we can actually get an opportunity to go over that information, so we can kind of come up with a better and deeper understanding. But in the meantime, this is the kind of stuff that you're not going to be seeing on the mainstream news. And that's part of our job, is to make sure that you are becoming more aware of things that are in the alternative news sources. So we don't have the big budget. We don't have anything like that. We just want you to be informed so that we can better support unifying our country and also bringing our world to peace. So Joshua, you got anything else over there, my man?
Just a little bit. So as most of you guys know, I'm Christian. So Jesus was Jewish. So I'm always going to have a little bit of love for Israel. but I really don't know too much about the current events that are going on. I can always correlate back to the creation of Israel in the 40s and the claims to the Holy Land by the Jewish people and the Palestinian people. But as far as these particular occurring events that now are all over our media, which have probably been going on for a while, and it just so happens that now it's time to give us something else to talk about. But I haven't really dove into that too much. But yeah, it's fun. You would think that some of these countries would learn because I mean, Israel can whoop some ass. In order to be, if you're an Israeli citizen, I'm pretty sure you have to serve in the military. Like you must serve in the military. So those people are just hard people. Like they can get it done. And one time, so many countries attacked Israel back in, I think it was in the 2000s or maybe before then. Been a long day, so I can't recall exact dates. But Israel whooped their ass so bad that the United States had to give back land to the other countries. So you would think we can say, hey, listen, the fighting's not working. Let's try to come to some other conclusions and some kind of agreements on how we can make this work for everybody. But that's what we call a perfect world, and I'm not sure if it'll ever be the way. And we talked about last episode with some countries siding with Palestine, some countries siding with Israel. So it's a whole powder keg that I'm sure will blow. Hopefully not, but it just seems like eventually this problem is going to have to work itself out one way or the other, and we're just finding ourselves in the middle of it right now.
My concern is the powder keg that we're looking at, if it turns into WW3. I'm not a doomsayer or anything like that, but we do have across the world, there's a lot of places that are in unrest, that are in civil disturbances, and there's no telling what's going to happen here in the near future. But right now, it's the future looks very chaotic and turbulent. And look at how we treat each other here in the United States. We get a gas shortage, and we've got assholes filling, grocery store bags with gasoline, and filling massive jugs with gasoline. Now we end up, in Florida really should not have had a shortage whatsoever because we were not even fed off that pipeline, how we got our oil, but yet we still ran into shortages here. Look what happened with the toilet paper. So all I have to say is that if you're not at least taking some time in your life right now to at least say, what if? I'm not saying give yourself to this and go crazy with it, but say, what if? What is your contingency plan? If you go into a building, they've already plotted out a contingency plan in the event of fire, or if you're someplace that are prone to earthquakes, what's the process to get to safety? They've already planned out the contingency plan, and nobody called them crazy for it. Just understand yours. Do you have what you need in order? Just say that you can't get access to food for a week. You have that. Look into this stuff. Not to say again, be obsessed with it. Just consider it. How are you going to take care of yourself and your family? If you're going to wait till that last minute and you're like, okay, well, my modern day conveniences should continue to stay in place. You just don't know. You really don't. And one of the fastest ways for us to lose our shit, because we've already lost our shit over toilet paper, Black Friday sales, gasoline shortages. We've lost our shit over whether or not somebody wore the right color clothing, or if somebody knows how to behave themselves when they're pulled over by the cops, or if they present a life-threatening situation towards a cop, the cop does what they need to do, and all of a sudden people are burning down buildings and the rest of this stuff. So, to me, I see that we're sitting on the tip of the match head, and I hope to God that we could all just put this fucking match away and get back to our sane minds. One fastest way to do that is to turn that goddamn television off. Stop listening to the news, the mainstream news. It's driving everybody insane. Watch out for whenever you do decide to send your kid to college, what classes they take, because they're indoctrinating children at colleges. Not every college, not every class, but whenever your kid goes in and learns critical race theory and gender studies, and next thing you know, you've got a radicalist coming home trying to pass the peas at dinner, Christmas dinner or Thanksgiving, and they got to give you a lesson on how bad America really is, even though that's what's given them the privileges that they have in their life, and they resent it and they don't know what the fuck they're doing. So just be aware of what you're putting into your future. And again, don't ridicule the people that are doomsday sayers and preppers. You know, maybe you should just take a couple of quick lessons from them. Walk them, like have them walk through your life and find out what your contingencies are. So again, it's not a bad idea. I'm not telling you to get lost in it. You know, it go as far as you want. I personally chose not to get lost in it, but I have taken some steps to make sure that if something were to happen, I at least have more time for us to get back into civil society within a couple of weeks to a couple of months, that where I am able to survive in that timeline, even if something does happen. But you don't walk into my house and I'm a hoarder with, Zephyr Hills bottles all the way up to the ceiling, or, store brand potato chips, or whatever all over the damn place. So anyway, I hope that we don't get to that point. Life will not be the same once the world engages into a war. It won't be. World War One, it was only, how long was it between World War One and World War Two? Do you know?
World War II started in, what was it, 1930? I want to say it was 38 or 39.
Okay. So, yeah, World War One started on November 11th, 1918.
World War II was, 1939.
Okay. So we're looking at 21 years between the two.
Yeah,
How
not long.
crazy is that? We went from World War One, 21 years later, we're in World War Two. You could have served in both. Oh, yeah. So I say that because who's to say WW3 would be it? That we wouldn't have WW4. And I don't mean having Stone Cold Steve Austin jump up on the top buckle and crack open a beer and pour it all over himself and flick everybody off. I'm talking about like it's life is not the same. So is it something that some people in the world want? I'm sure that there are, but who knows who it is? I'm not going to fall into conspiracies and things like that. Just keep in mind that your actions may not seem like it's going to make a difference, but if you go around being an asshole to everybody, it ripples out. And then that person's like, I've had a bad day, like the person screaming at Joshua because he pulled into the driveway. That's a ripple effect that if Joshua doesn't have the emotional capacity to cushion that and then redirect it or to just dissolve it, then he could take that off to somebody else and do the same thing. Not necessarily the same thing, but offset emotional discomfort onto somebody else. So we need to be responsible for this stuff. Remember, we're Americans. We need to act that way. We need to act like it. We're in this together. If you're on edge, seek out a therapist. It's not a bad idea. It's mental health awareness anyway. Let's go. Let's have at it. So, all right. I don't have much else right now. We're going to publish this one on Friday and Saturday again. I may publish a little early, but I doubt it. Probably just stay on. I may do a day early this week. So publish on Friday and another one on Saturday. So you guys have time to watch it over the weekend. That's what I've got for so far for this show. Joshua, you got anything else?
That's it. I think we covered everything. Happy hump day. Hope you guys have a great week. Thank you for tuning in for another episode. We really do appreciate it. We'll see what happens. Going up to Georgia this weekend. I think the weather's supposed to be nice, so I'll still miss Florida. Don't worry. I can't wait to be back. I'll be counting down the days, Chad, even though I am looking forward to going up. But have a great week. We love you guys. Don't think what we think what you think. Just know why you think what you think. And just stay golden as always.
I love it, pony boys. All right. Till next time. This is your host, Sir Chad Everett Broshears, and I'm joined with my co-host, the man that Prince would sing about, Joshua, your patriot, my Kraken McClendon. All right, y'all, have yourself a fantastic week. Catch you next time.